question, but if one of you guys wants to turn it into one, I'd love to hear what you have to say. And another thing I'd like to know is if industrial hemp crops, if it's legal to make nutritional supplements out of them. Thank you.
Does anyone want to answer the nutritional supplement question? That was a very dangerous question. The state does not regulate GMO. It's a free country. We do not and we will not regulate GMOs. I just want to say that. And I don't know.
But coexistence is impossible. Once they start doing it, all our crops will be better.
And that's fine. That's your opinion. I was just saying we won't regulate it, so don't ask us. Don't ask us to. We don't regulate any other crop, so we won't regulate it. And I don't know about the nutritional substance. All we're regulating is production, or excuse me, growth of the plant, production of the plant, and you have to give us a contract with an in-state processor. We do not regulate the processors.
Thanks, Laura. I'll get it over to you next.
Hi, I'm worried that my question may have actually been for Stan, but Laura, I'm hoping maybe you can answer it. I'm interested in research and development, and I have a small piece of property, and then my neighbor has a small piece of property who has said, you can do whatever you want back there. And my question is, are there questions that we can be expecting from, like, say, the police officer who's driving down our street and sees a plant in the backyard and drives up and says, what the hell are you doing back here? Is that gonna, if I have the piece of paper from your office, is that gonna be enough, or?
Okay, so we will give you the piece of paper. And to be honest with you, we don't know I don't know what their response to that question will be. I can tell you, you will have your piece of paper, you can show that to them. That is intended to be enough. We expect to get open records requests. And anyone who registers with you, it's state law that your information we can share. We will not share confidential business information, which means we will not share the varieties you're growing. We will not share your location, but we will share that you are registered. And so if they ask us and you're registered by open records request, we can tell them, yes, you are registered. If you're not registered, and, so if the law enforcement theoretically finds out that someone's not registered through our program and they're not registered through the Marijuana Enforcement Division, I honestly don't know how they would handle that.
Oh, Rob. Okay, Doc, I'm going to go grab him really quick and I'll be back with you.
I was kind of curious, how many permits are you allowing in the state of Colorado? And what do you look at for as a potential farm to grow hemp? Are there certain requirements that you are looking for or kind of sought after? Because there'd probably be abundance of permits requested. So, I don't know. What are you looking for in a farm to be able to do this, I guess?
Lots of years.
Okay, there is no limit to the permit. So you come, we will register you. And there's really no requirement. You can grow this indoors, you can grow this outdoors. This is agriculture. And as such, there's a lot of innovation, and we are not going to dictate how you grow this or where you grow this. But if you grow it, you need to register, and then we'll come and test the plants and do what we're allowed to do. So I hope that answers your question. There's really not anything specific that I'm looking for. Now, I don't know, after we go through a season and we learn, maybe I can't say that there might not be in the future, but at the moment, I would say ignorantly, no, we're not, we're not looking for anything specifically. I hope that answers.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Two other questions. And I can speak loud, most of you guys can hear me. So what about the reseeding problem? You know, it's definitely a seeded plant. If regulations change, or say there was an over 0.03% in the THC value, does the bubble of coverage change? I know I can't sell it, but does that put me into a different category if my THC level exceeds the 0.03?
Okay, so the question regarded the reseeding, and so this is a concern that we might have. So someone is growing commercially, and the level is over 0.3. We have the leeway, since it's a new program, and we didn't want to set in stone that you had to burn it, you had to do this, because maybe there's something in the future that we can work on as a compromise. But the product cannot enter the marketplace, and in all likelihood, it looks like destruction of the crop is definitely one avenue. And I don't want to say that's the only avenue, but at the moment, I'm not aware of the other avenues yet, although we are open-minded. There has been some talk about feeding this to cattle. So I'm not addressing your seed issue, but I'm addressing what might happen. There has been some talk about feeding this to cattle. We're really trying to get as much research data as possible to assess whether that is feasible. In the European Union, they do not allow that, do not recommend that. And so we're trying to understand why and whether or not that would be an avenue. Now the seed issue is that if it's over 0.3, we do not want it to reseed, and so and then come up as volunteers, so to speak. And so we're just going to have to work with each individual really closely, because we don't want to be so prohibitive that we lock ourselves into this box. We need to be open-minded, and we need to work as well as possible. But on the other hand, you have to realize that there's a lot of eyes on us. We have a lot of stake as an industry as a whole to do this right. And so when I mean say do this right, that's nebulous. But we don't want negative things to occur as a result of this. And so we just all need to work together, really.
And is there any regulations on the cannabidiol contents?
No.
Yeah, there's none.
No, and I don't anticipate there ever will, but if your plant is over 0.3, you do not belong in industrial hemp.
Right.
Okay?
Did that answer your question?
I just kind of want to do an addendum to that real quick. Keep in mind, phytoremediation studies are very interesting to us as well. So if you guys till stuff back into the soil, that data is also very valuable. So keep in mind, we're very interested in all aspects of this. So it's not just an end road of having to quote unquote destroy the crop, if you will. So quick comment.
Alrighty, this is the famous DOS with the hemp ice cream and many, many more historic hemp things.
Well, my favorite thing about fame is that a person doing good should avoid fame with the same caution that a person doing evil avoids punishment. And so we're involved in planning, processing, and consulting, and helping secure lab analysis in the quality control area long before the plant is ready to be evaluated by the ag department, so that for in-house quality control, you can be confident about the nature of your own crop. The only good thing I have to say about Harry Anslinger is that he has one good quote. He says that any farmer can tell the difference between the goats and the sheep without federal assistance. And so my question, especially relating to seed development and characterization of the genome, is a question actually of the whole room. Do we have a strong sentiment that we will conduct ourselves in a manner that does not encourage GMO in our hemp? My question relates to the seed sourcing is that there is one very interesting possibility for some really amazing seed genetics that I would like our program to have access to. There's in Fort Collins, there is a germplasm seed bank called GRIN. It's an acronym. And all the cannabis accessions, there's over 150 accessions that have entered the GRIN program, and you can observe the names and the accession numbers of those if you look at the items that are inactive. And so I'm asking if anybody on the panel knows about the GRIN program. And I believe that even though those cannabis accessions are inactive and it says do not request, it would be totally inconsistent with the mission of GRIN for those seeds to have been destroyed. Do any of you know about the status of the existence of those seeds?
There's some professors here that might be able to help you out.
Oh, good.
Those seeds, I work at Colorado State University. Those seeds are in the federal fertilizer collection.
They do still exist.
They do still exist.
But they're not being maintained.
It's a seed collection. So they're being preserved as seed and cannot put them. They cannot distribute them.
Yeah.
GRIN is not allowed to share.
Then who makes those decisions?
Not me, I don't know.
Well, I talk to a lot of people, and it's always important to find out who's actually making the decisions, because often the receptionist won't represent my case as well as I might. But my question is about what is the status of the existence of those seeds.
No, I said it can't hurt to request them.
It can't hurt.
It can't hurt.
Thank you.
Guys, I can't tell you how much I want you to be right, but I spoke, maybe you will know Dr. David West, who did a federally sanctioned hemp study in Hawaii in the 2000s. And he said he personally visited the seed repository wherever, and was told where it was supposed to be, and it was like, loose, baggy, not tied up and all rotted and gone. His statement in his book says it's gone. We have to rebuild. I want you guys to be right, but I'm just letting you know that's what he said. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I haven't seen them, but I spoke to the people there and requested them, and it took a while, and I was told they exist, and I can't let them.
And a quick thing.
It says do not request.
Yeah. A quick thing on rebuilding the germplasm. Ideally, I hope for Colorado and other farmers everywhere that there might be a hybrid situation where you can dual crop or tri-crop, where you can both be developing a cultivar where you're getting the valuable seed stock and then have fiber. And a caveat note on fiber: there's fiber and there's fiber. There's leftover fiber that can be used to create biomass and energy, but it takes a very special handling, especially at harvest time, to make high-end, like this is my government high-end fiber that is not really being done in the Western Hemisphere yet. And Veronica, is she out right now? I want her to hear this. She issued a challenge because we really want future editions, or at least a special edition of this, to be printed at not just 100% recycled paper as it is now, but on hemp paper in the future. And for that to happen, I want to be able to say, this collective or cooperative of Colorado farmers through the hemp that you're reading this book on, and no trees for the publication of this book.
I'll have to give you a sheet of some 100% Colorado grown paper that was made from 100% Colorado grown fiber. And it's important to remember that the definition of marijuana has a specific carve-out exemption for the mature stocks and the fiber made therefrom. Those are not marijuana by either federal or state definitions almost anywhere in the country. Now, getting them to that state where they are mature stocks is a unique opportunity that we have here in Colorado. And many of you will be working with me using some of my consulting services. I also have an oil press, seed processing. I've been addressing since 1990 the issues of food, fiber, and fuel. And now we're adding to that freedom. So thank you all for being here.
And the
beautiful thing with hemp fiber for paper is that the absolute bottom waste fiber can always go to paper. So every little bit gets used up. Did you have a question over here?